they're not terrible, but they're not. Sometimes they could be better. I've almost tried to talk to one of the guys in the club and ask him if he would finish a couple of my pieces for me, but I never got up the nerve to ask him to do it. Then, you know, we have different, I don't know, other than the stave bolt. Anybody have any other questions with the stave bolt? No?
Yeah. Is there any reason why you wouldn't have these come in and meet at the center so that you didn't have to put a plug in the bottom and disrupt the continuity of the...
I have I should have printed it out. I mean, it was in Wood Magazine, the whole concept of the stave bolt construction, how they do it. They give you a maximum wall thickness, and they're not supposed to go over a certain amount. And I really don't know why it is. Anybody know why that is? Why?
Because it will make them quick, they break.
They break?
Yeah.
Anything, if you've got a large glue surface, then the whole glue surface has got to stretch or contract. If it's wood and it's thin enough, instead of it having to do that, it simply flexes.
Yeah, but that's after it's turned. But his question is why you wouldn't start with a solid piece to begin with. Once it's turned, yeah, I understand that it's going to move. But.
Well, you're wasting that much more exotic.
Well, that too, but there is, and I really, be very honest, I never understood why they said that. Maximum wall thickness. They tell you not to go over that.
Well, no, you're going to cut it inside and outside anyway. Well, he's talking about putting it together.
Yeah, totally solid pieces he's talking about.
And the reason
where they, instead of that being hollow, it
right.
comes right in and up, they all meet at
right.
a point. The wall thickness may be thin, but from the perimeter in here, you've got a long glue surface. Maybe that's what the...
That's what it is.
I never understood. It didn't say why. It just said maximum wall thickness, and they give you it's like an inch and a quarter, and that's supposed, and it depends on your size here. If you're going bigger, obviously you can go with bigger wall thickness. I should have printed that out and brought it in because it was something I really never understood why they said that. Yes.
Well, if you, I think what this is, if you cut the pieces so they taper to the bottom, that angle, that 22.5-degree angle that you're cutting here, all of a sudden when you make it a taper, that angle changes and you get like crazy angles. You get like let's say a 12 2/3 degree miter and a 14 9/10 bevel. I mean, it's when you start to taper the piece.
You're talking about a compound angle now?
Yeah. That's a whole...
I've tried that a couple times too. It gets, unless you have a very, very accurate table saw, it's extremely hard to do. I mean, when you try, if anybody's going to try this, you're going to find that just cutting the angles and putting them together becomes a little bit of a chore. I mean, I don't know how Pete gets away with all his does. It could be because of the size of the pieces. He's not working with pieces this big.
He's not ripping them down. He's crushing them.
Yeah, so they're a lot smaller, and he does a lot more homework than I do as far as his grain orientation too.
And he has to be razor sharp too.
Yeah, Pete does a great job with that. Yes.
Blade has to be razor sharp.
Len, did you ever glue up those 8-sided figures vessels in half, 4 at a time, with a dowel in between?
No.
Okay. That's...
And one of the other things that Charlie Panzer was famous for years ago was the inside-outside turnings, that he would take the piece of wood and glue them together with brown paper bag in between, and then turn a piece, certain shape, like a candlestick. And then when he got the shape turned, he would take a little chisel and you split it. The paper allows the glue joint to come apart, and then you just turn and reverse the pieces again and glue them back together. So you already had the shape of the inside is already turned. So that's, it's another concept, another thing with Jim Diamond that he brought in. I don't know how many people remember Jim Diamond doing this demo. A long time ago. Just take a block of let's say a 3x3 cedar block. That's your basis. You start with that in the middle, and then just take pieces of wood and just start gluing them together. It doesn't matter what thickness they are, glue them together all around the piece. And then when you start to turn the piece, all the pieces of wood reveal themselves, depending on the shape that you have. Again, you learn so much from the guys in the club, and Jim Diamond is one of the Guy's that unbelievable, the experience that he gave to everybody. His different things. I'm going to start to talk about texturing a little bit. And all that all comes from Jim Diamond. Yeah, there's guys that did it in some of the magazines and everything, but Jim Diamond, he brought it to the club. And he's the one that brought that in. So there's something here for everybody. Everybody can try different things. Everybody's got different skill levels, and don't be afraid of bringing your stuff into show and tell. Nobody's going to ever laugh at, you know, your work. You might get criticized by some people, praised by others, but it's all in your benefit. That's going to make you a better turner over time. You know, nobody's here to criticize. Here's a piece. I should pass this around. This is pretty a stave bowl that shows that's got the little tenon. Now this is what I grabbed with that 3-jaw chuck. So when now you're turning outside of this piece, you cannot be aggressive. You have to be very, very gentle. You know, your little slip, and it's going to rip right out of the jaws. And that's happened many times. So this just shows you that the shoulder that I'm grabbing it on. Now I've turned the piece with this facing me, and I've turned the tenon in here, and I shaped this a little bit, and now I've turned it around and I'm grabbing it on the inside, and now I'll turn the rest of the piece. So I mean, you can't be aggressive with this type of work. You have to be very gentle. The slightest little catch, and your piece is going to go flying. And I can't tell you how many times, the first time that it happened, it really just scared the hell out of me. The piece just blew up, bang. You know, you jump back, and oh, Jesus. Then I went looking for the pieces, I couldn't find them. Well, so the next time that it happened, I went, oh, listen, ding, dong, dong. Okay, there's one over there, and I went and gathered all the pieces and put it back together. But you just can't be aggressive. You have to be very patient with that.
And when you glue them back together, they stay glued.
Yeah, when you glue the piece that Charlie did, you glue them back together again. They stay glued together. The first time they got the paper in between. The second time they don't. I still have that piece that he turned. I still got that in my cabinet too, Charlie. So we go from there. We go, you know, different types of turnings. Last demonstration I did, everybody got frightened and moved away. Brady went to the back row. I had one of my wing pieces, and all this is a log. You can see the pith, you know, and you just take a log and you slice off the back. And I used the hot glue. I take in it was green, so I took the torch and I made sure that the log was dried out where I was doing it, and just glue it on and you turn it. Again, you cannot be aggressive with these pieces, and it just takes time. And I mean, there's something for everybody. You know, this might not interest somebody, this might interest somebody. Everybody's got their own thing, and be willing to try it, and you've got to be willing to fail. You know, because the first time I did one of these, I forget who brought the piece in that inspired me to try it. And the first one, forget about it, I blew it up. Second one, I was more successful. So, you know, you just have to take your time.
Lenny,
Yes?
what kind of a torch do you use?
I use regular propane, little propane torch.
You do that before you turn?
Before-
But during the turning,
What do you mean about
to dry it out?
to dry it out? No, I slice. You have a log. The log is rounded. I got to slice a flat spot that I can put a glue block on here. So the part that I have cut,
So you're drying the flat spots?
I'm
down.
drying the flat spot so that the glue would adhere. The hot glue does not adhere to moist wood
You're
at all.
not trying to dry the whole